All right. I wanted to get into the architect of the universe. It's something that was created out there as an alternative to Big Bang theory. Because um, every time you go to the Hubble Deep Sky surveys, you always end up with the same galaxies, nothing out there indicating a Big Bang. They're all centered around a central uh, object in the center of the galaxy. Now, you can one of the problems I had with Newton's laws of gravity is that why this kind of keeps the galaxy together. There's nothing moving in our galaxy. Originally, it did stream outwards, but it didn't. It after that, there's no movement. So obviously, the universe, the story of the universe is not based just in Newton's laws of gravity, even though it's a good theory and explanation for some things, but not when you get into the advanced extraterrestrial technology out in the universe and what they have the ability to do. So let's put what they would use is kind of instead of just being really a ball, it's more like a just a extraterrestrial something they designed. And what they do is they kind of use condensed matter physics. And what they do is they concentrate all that into this object via more gravity, and they take all the hydrogen, the helium, and everything, all the material they need for a galaxy and creating suns. They concentrate that into this circular object, which is at the center of our galaxy. You already know that the center of our galaxy is round. It's not a sun. It doesn't behave like a sun. There are about 7 stars that do rotate around it. So, yeah, that falls in with Newton's laws of gravity. But other than that, none of the rest of the galaxy is moving. The strings aren't moving around the galaxy, and the stars aren't rotating around the galaxy, too. Only things that are closer to the center. And also, the factor is if this was just Newton's laws of gravity, the closest sun to the center object is doesn't bleed off when it gets closest to center of our galaxy. So that proves that Newton's laws of gravity are not applicable to the center of our galaxy because it's something else that's creating that rotation around the center. But there's only about 7 stars, and it's already been proven that are rotating around the center of our galaxy. The rest of our galaxy is not moving. So let's go back to in the beginning. They're gonna originally. Let's not. I'm not saying the Big Bang theory isn't true, but the problem is if it's just one bang, then the whole universe and all the material we have in it will be rotating around one extraterrestrial phenomena, which is not what you find out there. So obviously, they must. If Big Bang theory was true, they would have. We would all be in just one galaxy. There's one galaxy that's super huge out there, but they don't have any. All I know is there's a lot of light that's coming from it, but they don't have any real good pictorials from it. So that may be where we originally came from. But I personally think that all that galaxy is being used for is to concentrate gas that the galaxy mover can actually use for creating another galaxy. So let's go back. That's how about our creation of our galaxy. There's a Duma, and there's an architect of the universe, something they created that can move galactic material across space-time. And the only way they can do that is create a wormhole. And there's nothing in the physics will show you how to create a wormhole that can go through space-time. I would suggest that it's based in hyperdimensional physics, and what you do is this is 4 dimensions. You can see up, down, side, and both ways. And what you do is use hyperdimensional physics, and you go up to here, and this is where you bend space-time, like right about here. And so it's no longer a four-dimensional object. You've gotten into a fifth dimension in space that you can actually use. I think that's also a possibility with warp drive over just going to be able to go to light speed. You have to be able to jump that other space and dimension to be able to do that. And I think that's what the wormhole could do. So, um, but anyways, so you get all that. They use some kind of condensed matter physics to concentrate everything they need in material into this, like kind of like a cannonball. And what the galaxy mover does, it creates a wormhole and fires it out to the designated place somewhere in the universe, and that most likely that would be a Duma, physicist and scientist and governmental people, and they give him the coordinates to where that galaxy needs to be placed. It's just very similar to kind of like a cannonball. And once it reaches its destination, this starts twirling. And it sends out a stream of gas and material into usually into a spiral galaxy, about four spirals. And then it turns a little bit. And that creates the kind of what you see in most galaxies. And when it turns, it creates kind of warps the streamers, and it's now kind of like a pinwheel circular. So now that you got that, so how do you get design out there once you got the galaxy and materials out there? Most likely the ships would come from the center of this phenomena. It's very large, and that's my suggestion is how the ships got out there. Or if it's just black space, just dark space out there, then how do you navigate? You don't have the stars out there yet. You don't have just got gas, kind of like a nebula, so you don't have anything lit up out there. So you have to have light out there, or you can't use ship's navigation because there's nothing for it to base itself. Ship's navigation usually based on stars. So it's a certain kind of ship that comes from the center of the galaxy and exits this phenomena, and from there they're using a lot of condensed matter physics to put material together, using condensed matter physics to create the suns and light up the galaxy, which is what they'd be doing. But I think the center of the galaxy has something to do with those ships being able to come out of this phenomena and into our galaxy, because there's really nothing. If they're going to travel across the universe, and you get into areas where it's just totally dark and there's no way to navigate, so there's nothing to base it on. You're in an empty place in the universe where you're going to put a galaxy, and there's nothing that navigation can attach itself to. So that they have, obviously there's something in their technology. They have the ability to they use the center of our galaxy as a kind of a navigational tool, and the streams of gas, they start creating stars. So that's about it as far as the alternative to the Big Bang Theory. I'm not saying it's not that didn't happen, but it doesn't. When you go into deep space, all you're seeing is same design principles of galaxies around a center. Now there are some galaxies that don't have a center. Well, why did they do that? We have the molecular cloud that doesn't have a center, but it is held together. There's a whole bunch of stars up there, and they are held together, most likely. But that's just based in Newton's laws of gravity. Is that you get all these stars out there, and they're kind of keeping that together. So we had two clouds up there that don't have a center, and there's a reason why those were put up there. But all the rest of the universe, as far as galaxies goes, does have a center. It does have a central point as to where that's going to keep the galaxy at a certain place in the universe. Well, I think that's probably about it for this lecture.